Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's Doug Diamond here. Hope you're doing well on another Sunday night, Diamond Report Live. It is 10:06 p.m. on Sunday night, October 15th, 2023. This is your host, Doug Diamond, for the next hour or two, probably more like 2 plus. We've been going closer to 3. So, obviously, the final version of the show will end up being a bit shorter than that. However, if you're live and here with me, you may be in for a little bit of a long ride. We'll see. I've got a lot of tabs open across the top of my screen, as you can see there, and a lot of things to talk about. This is the most action-packed, or certainly the most substance-packed broadcast that you will see in alternative news. I keep saying that because we have zero commercials. No commercials. There's no advertisements of any kind. There's no sponsors. There's none of that garbage. I'm not going to waste your time with all that because I know I appreciate it when people do that on shows that I'm watching. So anyway, let's take a look at the news. Got a lot of stuff to try and cover tonight and a few videos as well. So we'll see what all we can squeeze in before I am completely exhausted and have to shut it down for the night. So we'll just see how it goes. Hope you all are doing well. And let's jump into the news. We've got Hal Turner Radio Show pulled up. As usual, if you want to follow along, HalTurnerRadioShow.com, and he's got a number of different headlines. The story everywhere across the world seems to be Israel and Gaza at the moment, which does a lot of good distracting, doesn't it, from all the other stories, like all the millions of people dying and being forever damaged from those, everything that Biden is doing, Biden and company. It's just amazing how this story has, and I suppose rightfully so, how this story has taken over the world, really. So, let's take a look at what Hal's got to say here. The first article I've got pulled up: heavy airstrikes upon Gaza City, unconfirmed reports, tanks entering Gaza. So, according to Hal, he's saying as of just a little while ago, the Israeli Air Force is carrying out very heavy airstrikes against Gaza, and there are unconfirmed reports that Israeli tanks are entering Gaza. Again, unconfirmed reports about the tanks, and that was a little bit earlier this evening, and then just a couple hours ago a few hours ago now, 6:41 Eastern, confirming very large and ongoing airstrikes. One observer says this is the most consistently violent raids of the week in Gaza City. Here's the original source of the tank info, which is on Telegram, being translated here from Hebrew. Update at 6:57 Eastern. Reports many coming in claiming the IDF is now using internationally banned cluster bombs in its raids on Gaza. If you don't already know this, the IDF, the Israelis, have basically said we're not playing by any rules anymore. If you ask me, that also means that Hamas and the Palestinian people who will be fighting them will also do the same thing, right? They've decided to throw out completely the rules of war, rules of engagement. I don't think that's too good of an idea. I don't know about you guys. Video, 7:03 Eastern. I'm actively seeking proof of Israeli tank movement into or at least near Gaza. I have just received the video below from Route 232 near the south of Gaza. Clearly, there is an unloading of tanks and armored vehicles going on. No actual footage yet of actual entry into Gaza. So there's video there if you want to take a look at it. Here's a map, and if you don't know the area, which most people don't, if you live in the U.S., feel free to take a look at this. More updates here. Flares lighting up everything. Explosions. Drones everywhere. Biden tells CBS News 60 Minutes that eliminating Hezbollah in the north and Hamas in the south is a necessity. Why would he want to do that? He's funding them. We will provide Israel with everything it needs. I do not think the deployment of our forces is necessary. The terrorist threat has increased in the United States due to the unrest in the Middle East. Thank you very much, Biden and company. But yes. Update 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I am unable to confirm that any tanks have entered Gaza. So Hal is saying he doesn't know, but it does appear to be coming. So that is something to watch for this week. Obviously, we don't know exactly when. They are, the IDF, the Israelis are telling, 1 million people in Gaza to evacuate. Where are they going to go? It's an open air prison. They can't leave Gaza. If they do, they'll be shot. and yet they're supposed to evacuate to save their lives. Figure that one out. So it's literally shooting fish in a barrel at this point. Anyway, some other headlines he's got on his site updated. Smallpox confirmed. Developments. Water turned back on in Gaza, and the Rafah border crossing reopened for U.S. So there's a little bit more info there. So they turned the water back on, according to what Hal's saying here. I have no idea if that's true or not. Some covert intel, spy satellite info, bad escalation for subscribers only. IDF spokesperson, we will attack anywhere in the Middle East. See, that's what I'm saying. Their rules have been thrown out the window now, apparently. They can do anything that they want because it's Israel, right? Maybe not. They think that no one's paying attention, or what's going on here? Covert intel from inside the United Nations in New York. IDF are now attacking Syria. See what I mean? They're just going to do anything and everything that they want to do. So anyway, there's lots of info here on Hal's site. And yeah, I think he's a good source on this. And so far he has been proven to be exactly right. From his coverage, he's been hours to not potentially days ahead of the mainstream media. So feel free to take a look at that. I get nothing for promoting his show and website. I just think it's a good source. First heard about him, I don't know, several years ago. I guess probably from Steve Quayle. He was the one out there talking about Hal. And so I looked into it, and I've been listening to Hal ever since. So I'm a subscriber. You can do it for like $1 a week or something. And he does give really good information. And obviously there's some subscriber-only info there that you get as a little added bonus. So, but yeah, he's on the radio as well every night. So feel free to take a look at that. I think he's doing really good work. And let's take a look at some of the other articles I've got pulled up. Technocracy.news, Trilateral Commission's Kissinger, Migration and the Multicultural Destruction of the West. The multicultural integration of Europe and the United States was a policy that was exclusively created by the Trilateral Commission. Henry Kissinger worked hand in hand with fellow Trilateral Peter Sutherland. Now Kissinger says that was all a mistake. Right. Kissinger recently told Politico, quote, "It was a grave mistake to let in so many people of totally different culture and religion and concepts because it creates a pressure group inside each country that does that." End quote. Yeah, you think he's a little afraid of what he may be paying for in the end? I don't think he is. I don't know that he even believes in God, but I don't think he's too sorry. But he says he is, so who knows? It's a grave mistake, even though he helped foment it. He helped coordinate it. Apparently, Politico doesn't recollect this 12/1/2015 headline. Albright and Kissinger asked Congress to back off refugee legislation. Madeleine Albright was also a foreign policy wonk and fellow trilateral. They wrote an urgent, letter to Congress to stop the influx of Syrian and Iraqi immigration into the United States. We believe that America can and should continue to provide refuge to those fleeing violence and persecution without compromising the security and safety of our nation. Yeah, right. To do otherwise would be contrary to our nation's traditions of openness and inclusivity. There's that word. And would undermine our core objective of combating terrorism. This old codger is one of the terrorists. And our government, the American government, is a massive terrorist organization. So are the Israelis. The Israeli government, not the people. The Israeli government are also terrorists. Not to mention Hamas and CIA front group, right? So, anyway, very strange. But old Kissinger here is saying, no, it wasn't me. UNDP releases Digital ID Governance Framework. The United Nations Development Program, as its name implies, is a hotbed of technocrats who are intent on total global control. Its website states at the top of its homepage, governance for people and planet. These technocrats are encased in a simulacrum promoting anti-reality that will eventually destroy the planet. The following is an official UNDP document. See if you can figure out what they're heading toward. Kind of says it all, doesn't it? They're headed for the governance framework. The one world currency, right? The one world everything. So feel free to take a look at this if you want. Digital Legal ID Model Governance Framework. Here's how it all works. So yeah, technocracy.news on that one. And one more I've got pulled up. Flashback 2020, Technocracy and the Great Reset. I will continue to say this. Until people figure out who the enemy is, there will be no resistance. Because technocrats move forward wrapped in a simulacrum, which is anti-reality. Everything that they touch, reality, is destroyed. National borders, immigration, and culture. Now the world seems headed to World War III, ? Yes, it does. This is, I guess, probably Patrick Wood writing here. He says, I wrote this paper on April 5th, 2016. Sustainable Development, Migration in the Multicultural Destruction of the Nation State, showing where migration policies were created, by who and for what purpose, all orchestrated by technocrats. They intentionally destroyed Europe and the U.S. with open border policies, while the hidden hand of technocrats was never seen. Now Europe and the U.S. are headed to conflagration. How is this working out for you? TN editor. Now that is Patrick Wood. There he is right here. Here's an interview with him on this particular article. So talking about Agenda 21, Sustainable Development, Technocracy 2030. So there you go. So yeah, some good info there on technocracy.news. On G. Edward Griffin's site, I usually have some articles pulled up on here as well. Mostly I was just going to look at the headlines. I've got one article, I guess, I'll make a comment on. 10,000 illegal aliens will soon cross the U.S. border daily, warns Mexican president. 10,000 a day. There may be that now. Who knows? That's just what the Mexican president says. Democrat who supported Black Lives Matter shot dead by a black teen while canvassing. Seems to be a lot of that going around. Anyway, there's other articles here on needtoknow.news. And this one I pulled up only because I have a little side note I thought I would mention. WEF member Jane Goodall says world would be better if population is reduced by 90%. Remember, she hangs out with chimps. And I had I don't know if you call it pleasure, I did actually run into and meet Jane Goodall one time, believe it or not. And that seems like really strange. I was not wandering around out in Africa in the Serengeti playing with monkeys like she does. No, I was in a recording studio in Los Angeles, which is where I worked at the time. And for whatever reason, she was friends with one of the artists there you may have heard of, artist by the name of Stevie Nicks. I was there in the studio and hanging around on that session. And for whatever reason, Jane Goodall came in and talked to Stevie at length. They had a big, long meeting. This would have been in the early 90s. I just think that's really strange, but I guess Stevie was trying to get up to speed on population reduction, and what a better person to ask about that than her, huh? Jane Goodall, I mean. English primatologist and anthropologist Jane Goodall, who the World Economic Forum lists as one of its agenda contributors, bemoaned the size of the world's human population during the panel discussion at the organization's annual summit in Davos. She told an audience of elites that, quote, we cannot hide away from human population growth because, it underlies so many of the other problems. All of these problems that we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was a size of the population that was 500 years ago. The current population is about 8 billion, but 500 years ago, the population is estimated 435 million people. To satisfy Goodall's suggestion to solve globalist problems, quote unquote, 90% of humanity would need to go. I vote we start with Jane. If she volunteers to be the first one to go, then we'll talk. Anyway, I just thought I would mention that. And, again, this article's on needtoknow.news. But yeah, she is a globalist through and through for sure. And it's all hiding on the ugly underbelly there of I guess she really does care about the environment, but to say that there's not enough to go around is just simply not true. Proven fact that is not true. Although you'll hear lots of globalists, pretty much all globalists, will say that exact same thing. So it's called Malthusianism. So anyway, let's move on. We've got lots to talk about tonight. Revolver.news is one of the websites I like to take a look at and then jump off from there to other links to other articles. Here's one that was linked to New York Times. Israeli invasion plans target Gaza City and Hamas leadership. So that one is actually linked to from this. Israel prepares ground invasion with over 10,000 soldiers. The goal is to wipe out Hamas political and military hierarchy. So all bets are off at that point. So 10,000 soldiers, I know they've tried to go into Gaza more than one time, and they've had to pull back. I don't know what will happen when this happens. If they roll in with tanks and stuff, it's really hard to say. But you can bet they're going to have heavy, heavy casualties on both sides. And there's not going to be any winner, for sure. So anyway, this is a New York Times article. Yes, I know it's the New York Times, but I do think it's kind of interesting that they're at least linking to it here off of Revolver.news, I guess. The goal, according to 3 senior officers, is to wipe out the top political and military hierarchy of Hamas, the Palestinian group that controls Gaza. So anyway, there it is there if you want to take a look at it. It's the full article. It's not just a preview of it. This is the full article over on Archive Today. So we'll link to this article and all the others in the Substack post that I will put out at some point tomorrow, probably tomorrow late afternoon or evening. If you want to be on the Substack list, it's totally free. The link's up there in the upper right corner. diamonddisk.substack.com is where you can go sign up. If you haven't already, all the cool kids are doing it, so you should too. All right, WMD, Israeli airstrike takes out Planned Parenthood's only clinic in Gaza. I know you're really sad about that. Hopefully there were no people in it when it happened, including babies getting ready to be aborted. But I thought that was kind of interesting. In the midst of it all, the International Planned Parenthood Federation website complained that its building had been destroyed. The organization claimed the loss would result in 37,000 pregnant women being forced to give birth with no electricity or medical supplies. Hamas's own horrible situation these women and babies have been placed into. Anyway, kind of interesting that the one of the early victims here was the Planned Parenthood building in Gaza. Wow. I also saw this one. I'm a hockey fan, as you guys may or may not know, so I was kind of a little happy to see this, I guess. NHL expands the ban on LGBT pride gear to include hockey stick tape. Hockey stick tape. They put tape on the ends of their hockey sticks. And they used to have the rainbow hockey stick tape on some people's hockey sticks, but apparently no more. The move by the NHL follows league policy changes earlier this year restricting the use of rainbow-colored pride jerseys after backlash from players who refused to wear the LGBT promoting apparel. How about that? So I think that's good news overall. Says NHL has come under fire from LGBT groups and corporate media for banning pride tape used to wrap hockey sticks during official games, warm-ups, and practices during the 23-4 season. The move by the NHL follows league policy changes earlier this year restricting the use of rainbow-colored pride jerseys in pregame specialty warm-up sweaters after backlash from players who refused to wear the slop. So anyway, I thought that was pretty good news. If you're a hockey fan, I guess that's something. But you know, it is a massive organization, so who knows? They could decide, to cave to what the LGBTQ ABCXYZ people want them to do. So we'll see if they stick to the guns or not. I kind of have my doubts, but you never know. But yeah, the players don't like it. That's kind of the main thing. That was really the main point. Now, I saw this and thought this was kind of interesting. There's 2 things to show you on this page. The first thing is, this is on dailycrow.com if you want to pull it up and follow along. 26 states have a law where you cannot boycott, in some instances, criticize Israel. You may have heard of this. 13 states have the Israel Loyalty Oath law pending, and unfortunately, my state is one of them. The U.S. has no laws where that applies to the U.S., only Israel. Why? Why do you suppose that is? Anyway, there's the map. Legislation's been enacted in all of those red states. Red meaning the color coding on this particular map, not necessarily Republican states, obviously. You got California in there. Legislation introduced and pending in 13 more states, and no legislation in the gray ones. So the gray ones, if you're in one of those states, is the only ones. There's no legislation pending or introduced at all. So pretty weird. Anyway, let's take a look at this other thing. This is the first video we watched tonight from Greg Reese, and this is a link from his Substack, 3 World Wars to Usher in a One World Religion. This is the Albert Pike quote. This is the thing that he read in the video. I won't bother reading it again. I was going to, and then I realized that Greg actually already read it, so we don't need to do it twice. But here it is. This is the article again. If you want to share this, you could share it as a meme, because it's literally just all an image here, talking about the Third World War and what's coming. Very prescient words, if you ask me. So yeah, there it is. And again, we'll link to this. You can just open this image by itself, and you can see the whole thing is an image. Makes it pretty easy to share if you want to on social media. It's advanced enough that I don't think that Facebook will ban you for sharing this particular meme if you wanted to. There's probably a few instances where I don't know, maybe Instagram or TikTok or something might, but I don't think Facebook would. It's just a guess, but just based on things that I've shared over the years, that particular thing probably would be okay. And if you had any question about it, you could crop out his picture, I suppose. So anyway, just an idea. And then here's a video I found. I haven't actually watched the video, so I can't really recommend it from that standpoint, but it looks very interesting. The Hamas attack was an inside job, which I basically said those same things last week on this show. Insider, Israel attack was false flag to start a holy war and usher in a one world government. And you think we're not in the end times? Is that right? Well, anyway, this is a video from the People's Voice channel on Rumble. So feel free to take a look at this. Again, we'll link to this in the Substack post tomorrow. I'm sure it's probably just the lighting. I don't think BB's actually got purple hair, but I did notice that too. Very strange. Maybe he's becoming an LGBTQ activist himself. I don't know. All right. So, and then the Substack post is the other one that I've got pulled up here is the Holy War Origins of Friday the 13th. And I had some friends mention to me that this particular video is really good. So let's watch this. I've got it queued up. It's another Reese report. So I do think it's very interesting. Yes, I know Friday the 13th sort of came and went without a lot of issues. I mean, there probably was in certain pockets of the Middle East and so forth, I'm sure. But let's take a look at this video and see what Greg has to say about this particular issue. It's called The Holy War Origins of Friday the 13th. Here we go.
The origin of Friday the 13th has its roots in the ongoing Holy War, specifically Friday the 13th in October, which is noteworthy, seeing as how a worldwide Islamic jihad has been called for today on Friday the 13th in October. The Knights Templar gained wealth and power by fighting as mercenaries for the Catholic Church during the Crusades. Their headquarters was in the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, on Mount Moriah, where Abraham built an altar to sacrifice his son. King Solomon's temple is a central component of all three Abrahamic religions, and especially in Western occultism. The Templars were officially known as the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, or Templar Knights. Masonic lodges are based on the Temple of Solomon. Kabbalah teaches that the Temple of Solomon represents the metaphysical world and the descending light of the Creator through the Tree of Life. The Templar Knights wore white mantles with a red cross, a symbology that can be found throughout the history of the Catholic Church and its offshoots. The rebuilding of King Solomon's temple is a crucial goal of many religious groups and secret societies. The Templars were not only expert warriors, they were also pioneers in an early form of banking, and arguably one of the world's first multinational corporations. They acquired land throughout Europe and the Middle East, including the island of Cyprus. They owned and operated several farms and vineyards. They built massive stone cathedrals, and they had their own fleet of ships for war and for the import-export business. When Jerusalem was recaptured by Muslim forces in 1187, the Templars were forced to leave the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the Temple Mount, but they still managed many businesses and wielded much power. King Philip IV was deeply in debt to the Templars and began pressuring the church to take action against them. At dawn on Friday the 13th of October 1307, mass arrests were carried out against the Templars. Claims were made that the Templar recruits were forced to spit on the cross and deny Christ. They were accused of worshiping Baphomet and a mummified head believed to be that of John the Baptist. Dozens of Templars were burned at the stake, and the order was officially dissolved. The Temple Mount remained under control of Muslim forces until the British captured it in the Battle of 1917. 30 years later, the United Nations gave the land surrounding the Temple Mount to the Zionists, and the State of Israel has been encroaching upon it ever since. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
All right. Thank you, Greg. That was good info. Yeah, very interesting stuff. And I don't know if you guys knew very many of those details. There was a lot of that I didn't know about. And I do think that this helps to explain what's going on in the Middle East to some degree and how far back it goes. It is indeed a holy war. I know that I wouldn't want to lose my kids in a holy war. I don't know about you guys, but that is where it seems to be headed. Let's see here. So that was on Greg Reese's Substack is where that is. gregreese.substack.com if you want to subscribe. Highly recommended. And here is a article on the People's Voice, and we were just looking at one of the videos. I mentioned that just a second ago here on Rumble, the People's Voice. Well, this one says, Pope Francis declares Klaus Schwab is, quote, more important than Jesus Christ. I hate to have to break it to you here, Popey, but ain't true. Klaus Schwab is a demon just like you are. Look at his teeth, man. He's got some bad teeth. All right. The world has entered dark and stormy times, according to Pope Francis, who says humanity must put its faith in the World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab, who is the man with the plan to restore nature to its position of primacy in the world order. I don't know if the Pope actually looks that bad or what, if that maybe some Photoshop work done there. I don't know. Pope Francis says Klaus Schwab is the way, the truth, and the life. I don't know if that was real or most likely it's Photoshopped, but that's obviously what he thinks. According to Pope Francis, Klaus Schwab has emerged as a more important figure than Jesus Christ in the current era because Jesus wants to save souls, and Schwab understands that we need less souls. He understands that. Non-fact. Right? Going back to Malthusianism. That there's just not enough resources to go around. That's the idea. That's the lie. And I've played videos that debunks the entire thing. That, Malthus didn't know what he was talking about, essentially. And yet, these people ascribe to that whole doctrine, that there's not enough to go around. And clearly there is. God invented the entire scenario, right? He created literally everything, and I personally trust him. Whether there was 8 billion people on the planet or 80 billion people on the planet, I think he's got it under control. What do you guys think? Anyway, there's more here on this article. This is on People's Voice, thepeoplesvoice.tv. It's a pretty good website. They have some good stuff on there. And again, they have a Rumble channel as well, apparently. Netanyahu tells his forces Israel is with them As the fateful hour to attack Gaza Strip by land, sea, and air draws near, UN warns of specter of death as Enclave's hospitals run out of medicine and crisis threatens to engulf the whole Middle East. You guys think we're going to see Damascus become a ruinous heap? I mean, it's already being talked about, believe it or not. Not by theologians, not by biblical scholars necessarily. I mean, yes, there's always that. But it's actually being talked about as far as the different powers that be. It's pretty amazing. We could actually see Damascus becoming a ruinous heap play out in our lifetimes. Let's see, Zero Hedge. Egypt mulls allowing refugees entry as over 600,000 Gazans move south. FBI warns of Hamas attacks on U.S. soil. So that's kind of the next thing we're going to have to watch. When is this ground invasion that's literally being perpetrated every single hour of every day, when is that going to take effect here in the U.S.? When are those people going to be mobilized? Because that is clearly an advancing army from the south and is being allowed to, to do anything that it wants to do in this country. So again, when will the Biden administration start arming them when they come over? When those people are illegally crossing the border, are they going to start handing them some sort of weapons? It wouldn't surprise me one bit. After giving the northern Gaza Strip an evacuation ultimatum on Friday, Israel has so far withheld from launching a significant ground operation, with some speculation that requests from the U.S. to evacuate all U.S. citizens out of Palestine ahead of the invasion is what's holding Israel back. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister on Saturday said that if the Israeli war crimes and genocide are not stopped, the war might expand to other parts of the Middle East if Hezbollah joins the battle, and that would make Israel suffer a huge earthquake, quote unquote. Meanwhile, Axios reported that Tehran has sent Jerusalem a message through the UN that it will intervene if the campaign in Gaza continues, and particularly if it launches a ground offensive. So Iran will intervene if Israel goes into Gaza. Does this not sound like the workings of the next huge world war, the next situation that puts us all in danger? The existential threat is coming from our leadership. It's not the people, it's our leadership, which of course we didn't elect. They just elected themselves, because that's what crazy people do. They put themselves in charge. Anyway, so there's info here on this Zero Hedge article. Pretty good info. And then News Wars, WEF advisor Yuval Homo Harari warns of Middle East militaristic dictatorship. Globalist technocrat warns Israel could transform into a military dictatorship that will set the whole Middle East on fire. Yeah, but he thinks he's going to be exempt because he's in the know. He's in the club. Globalist technocrat Yuval Noah Homo Harari warned that the U.S. may soon have to contend with a rising militaristic dictatorship in Israel. In remarks from July, Harari explained that Israel, unlike America, has no true system of checks and balances. Well, we don't either anymore. We used to. Except for its Supreme Court, of which the Israeli government is trying to gain control. If it succeeds, there will be no mechanism that limits its power, he said, adding Israel's central government has been in the process of proposing discriminatory policies. So, yeah. And then there's the video right there that we started the show with tonight. So it's on there on this particular article. Newswars.com is where that is. 700 notable Hollywood figures sign an open letter in support of Israel. And of course, it's the usual suspects here. So you guys can look through this article if you want to. It's on Yahoo. But yeah, it's getting on the bandwagon here, I suppose. And not too surprising. Israel support at all costs, including our own lives, our own kids' lives, right? Yes. Minnesota woman who advocated for Palestinian rights and protested against Israeli actions were just killed by Hamas alongside her husband. So she and her husband, who were advocating for Palestinian rights, just got killed by them. Tragic twist of fate. Minnesota woman and her husband, who had vocally advocated for Palestinian rights and protested against Israeli military actions, were killed in a Hamas attack. So that's really sad, but I'm not that surprised. So this is on the Gateway Pundit. The next article I've got here is on Leo Hohmann. Up to 1 million Gaza refugees looking for new homes, and U.S. is first to raise its hand. When will we ever learn? We'll never learn. Well, I mean, we know, but the leadership, quote unquote, the fake leadership that we never elected, they will never learn. They know what works if they're trying to wreck the country, and this is one of those things. Palestinians coming to America? ? Yes, that's what a group of Democrats in Congress are already clamoring for. This is exactly the scenario I laid out in my 2017 book. This is Leo Hohmann talking here. Stealth Invasion. The U.S. gets involved in the affairs of another country, funding one or both sides of the war, and then when everything is destroyed and the refugees start to flow out of those areas, we are the first to volunteer to take them in. It usually starts with a trickle, a few thousand in the first batch, then it continues on and on and on until we have 50,000 or 100,000 or more refugees from a given country living in enclaves. It's going to be way more than that, I'm sure. And they'll come over at the U.S. taxpayers' expenses, right? We'll be funding it. We'll be funding our own invasion. This is how we ended up with tens of thousands of refugees living in America from jihadists harboring countries that hate us, places like Somalia, Sudan, Iraq, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Bosnia, Syria, and the list goes on. Right now, they are Israel's problem, but there are plenty of left-leaning Democrats and rhino Republicans who would like to make them our problem. So just know that this is in the works. If enough whining and crying, if it's loud enough, then they'll start shipping them over here from Gaza. So just be aware, that's probably coming very soon. Okay, Doug Hagmann's website, HagmannPI.com. This is an article about Michael Yon. I'm sure many of you know who he is. Michael Yon predicts 1 million migrants to pass through the Darien Gap per month by 2025. 1 million per month. Just staggering numbers. 1 million per month. I'll say it again. Unbelievable. I consider Michael Yon to be our nation's most important and informed investigative asset relative to the invasion of the United States through our southern border, a border that doesn't exist. In this video clip, Mr. Yon describes how the Darien Gap is being upgraded to accommodate an even larger invasion force. Currently, anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 illegal aliens per day are flowing through this route. About 82,000 came through this route in August, according to the Panamanian government. That's where the Darien Gap is, by the way. And likely more than 100,000 in September. Approximately 60 buses per day. And you guys have seen the train loads of people, too. Each able to hold at least 50 people, depending on the number of children, are commissioned to transport people. According to the governments of Panama and Costa Rica, that number is expected to increase to 200 bus loads per day. We are being invaded. We are being replaced. 600 million is at least the goal. 600 million. And there's 300 and some million in this country now, supposedly. They're going to replace us with 600 million people who can come in, and we have to take the... See how that works? Anyway, there's more here. This is a good article from Doug Hagmann. So yeah, it's on HagmannPI.com is where that is. I found this ABC article. I happened to catch this on TV a few days ago, hanging out with my mom. She is doing really well for those who were asking about her. She's now with us, and we were watching this actually about this Ring of Fire eclipse. I don't know if you guys knew about it. I think it's interesting, just the timing of it. And, we're told in the Bible that there will be signs in the heavens. I think this could very well be one. I mean, look at the timing of this. The Ring of Fire eclipse brings cheers and shouts of joy as it moves across the Americas. Cheers and shouts of joy erupted as a rare Ring of Fire eclipse of the sun made its way across the Americas. And I don't see any pictures of the actual Ring of Fire eclipse here in this particular article, but it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Let me see if I can find one. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll try Google and just see what happens here. Ring of Fire eclipse. Let's see what they're pretty amazing pictures. Here it is. From 2 days ago. You can kind of see what it looks like. That's pretty amazing. Do you suppose that's a sign in the heaven? Sign in the heavens that we were told is coming? I think it is. What do you guys think? Pretty wild. Anyway, Gateway Pundit's got some interesting articles. I'll just kind of read through quickly. California Governor Gavin Newsom approves $25 per hour minimum wage for healthcare workers. He approves it. He says it's fine, but you have to pay it. Governor Newsom signed a bill on Friday that raised the minimum wage for healthcare workers to $25 an hour. The bill was originally proposed by state senator from L.A. Those that supported the bill claimed that it will help to ease workforce shortages. They just have no idea how the actual system works, do they? Because of what happened during the pandemic. There are problems with a bill like this, which includes costing the state of California $1 billion a year. I thought California was broke. That was the last thing I heard about it anyway. Governor Newsom's office was not directly involved in the negotiations for the minimum wage increase for healthcare workers, but it was in support of it. You can bet it was. Power to the people, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, $25 an hour for healthcare workers, minimum wage. So, once again, not understanding how the actual system works. You institute minimum wages like that. That's crazy. World War III watch. Iran threatens intervention if Israel invades Gaza. I just mentioned this earlier. Warns of a huge earthquake. I wonder why they are terming it that. Why are they using those terms? A huge earthquake attack by Hezbollah. Iranian foreign minister publicly warned Israel of an attack by Lebanon-based Hezbollah that would cause a huge earthquake in response to Israel's attacks on Hamas-controlled Gaza after Hamas slaughtered over 1,300 Israelis and kidnapped 150 last Saturday in a surprise attack. It's interesting that they're calling it a huge earthquake. Do you suppose he means a literal earthquake? I mean, there are tectonic weapons. Do you think the Iranians have that sort of technology? I mean, I've been talking about that there probably will be a massive earthquake in Israel because at some point, I think very soon, where the Ark of the Covenant is hidden will be revealed. And in order for that to happen, I believe, personally, just by process of elimination and figuring that it's really the only way that it will happen, I think that where the Ark of the Covenant is hidden, which is in Zedekiah's cave in Jerusalem, the only way for that to be revealed is through an earthquake. Do you think he means an actual literal earthquake? Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe it's just the type of operation that would be involved in countering the Israeli offensive. I don't know. I have no idea. I just think it's interesting that he's calling it a huge earthquake and talking about Israel. So, pretty weird. New video. Hamas animals repeatedly lobbed bombs into shelter where 30 kids from the Nova concert were hiding, blew their bodies apart, and shot anyone who tried to flee. So, anyway, I'll let you guys look at this if you want to. I think it's got some pretty gruesome type pictures and stuff in it. So, I don't know. I mean, I only brought this up because we don't know. We don't know the details here. We hear the stories about the babies being beheaded, and that apparently has been debunked. That is not true. And I don't know. I mean, you just don't really know what to believe. So you're better off not reporting any of it. I mean, you can mention it, that it's being talked about, but I'm not really saying that it's true or not true. I just have no idea because I wasn't there. But they're reporting this particular event as true. I would tend to believe that it probably is, just based on some of the education that I've gotten over the years with regard to Islam. And it's pretty interesting. Let's just say that. This is definitely something that they would attempt to to do. So whether it's true or not, though, who knows? Biden makes mysterious 3-hour trip to Delaware home, and the White House refuses to say why. Joe Biden on Friday made a mysterious trip to his Delaware home for a few hours, and the White House refuses to say why. Earlier Friday, a reporter asked White House spokesperson, "What's the reason for the president's trip to Delaware this afternoon?" President is making a brief stop at home. He probably forgot his, depends. It depends. He probably forgot him. That's just a guess. But anyways, and here he is tripping up the stairs yet again, by the way. Conservatives are looking to boycott and move spending away from woke corporations. Here is one way to do it. So here's an article on the Gateway Pundit if you guys want to take a look at this. Bud Light, Target, Disney's woke campaigns have shown conservatives cannot trust major brands. And it comes after credit card processors, online stores, and retail stores like Bed Bath & Beyond and so many others have canceled conservatives. It has become abundantly clear that conservatives have to go our own way if we want to survive. But how? So many brands we buy in the grocery stores are associated with woke corporations. Check out this amazing graphic. I've seen this before. You guys probably have as well. There's all of the conglomerates that own all of these brand names. It's pretty amazing. But, yeah, I was going to mention, I didn't actually pull up the website, but if you look up publicsq.com, let me just pull that up. This is maybe a good starting point. I was actually advertising my music business entity with publicsq.com for a while. I stopped only because I didn't feel like the response was quite good enough. But the website and in particular the app is really good. So I would highly recommend it. I think it's a good option for getting the woke out of your lives as far as what the stores you want to shop at and stuff. It says join the movement, sign up and start shopping quality products, services, and exclusive discounts from values-aligned businesses you can trust. Sign up for free, and then if you've got a business, you can add it into the Public Square system here. But it's good. I think has some good options here as far as making sure that values align with you, with the companies that you're doing business with, and that your values align. So I think that's good. So that kind of reminded me of that when I saw this Gateway Pundit article. So there's more to this article, though. Obviously, you can pull that up and look at it if you want to. Megyn Kelly says that her friend died unexpectedly. Hold your loved ones near, she says. Megyn Kelly took a day off from her radio show last week following an unexpected death of a dear friend. So she made the announcement on her show. She did not divulge many details, but she asked her followers to live their lives right and without regrets. So anyway, another person dying unexpectedly. U.S. mausoleum faceplate smashed open and grave inside was robbed. What in the world's going on? This is just one of those, like, I mean, yes, I know Halloween's coming up and people make all sorts of weird excuses and do crazy stuff, but this is just, I guess, a sign of the times. This is where we're living now in this world today. Authorities in Colorado are investigating a gruesome incident at a cemetery in which a mausoleum was broken into and body parts were stolen from a corpse. This is what it's come to. Investigators with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office said the incident happened at the Crown Hill Cemetery in the Denver suburb of Lakewood. So someone's body was, it says here, Kelly said that the TV interview that the person died long ago, but the person's name was not revealed. The faceplate had been smashed away and was laying on the ground. The crypt behind that had been accessed, and the casket that was inside was partially pulled out. They did not reveal which body parts were stolen. Well, that's probably good. But this is what it's come to. I mean, it's so strange. Just really weird stuff. I thought you guys would want to know about that. France on high alert for potential terror attack after the Louvre and Versailles Palace evacuated. amidst bomb threats. So there's everybody being made to leave. Happened yesterday. Dramatic scenes unfolded in Paris on Saturday as two of France's most iconic landmarks were both immediately evacuated following bomb threats. So, it's now going to be a way of life, I suppose, for everybody. Bomb threats, which it is, but now it's really going to ramp up with everything that's going on in the Middle East at this point. Major banks close over 3,000 branches nationwide, with recent 50-plus closures from a Bank of America in just 1 week. So they are trying to shut them down so that we can get the one world currency, right? That's where it's headed. Major financial institutions seem to be accelerating a trend that many conservatives find alarming. The closure of physical bank branches. According to a bulletin published by the Office of the Comptroller of Currency on Friday, Bank of America led the way by closing 21 branches in just the first week of October. Wells Fargo was not far behind with 15 closures, while U.S. Bank and Chase reported closing 9 and 3 branches respectively, according to the Daily Mail. In total, some 54 locations had either closed or were scheduled to close between October 1st and 7th. I don't know what you guys' banking situation's like, but something to keep an eye on. It seems like the major ones are doing this the most. The regional banks, the smaller banks, not quite so much, it doesn't seem like, at the moment. But, of course, they want to do away with all those. They want to completely get away from having any other banks. It will just be one bank at some point, right? Yeah, the World Bank or whatever. Strategic Petroleum Reserve near historic lows. Biden drained the SPR down to just 17 days of supply as war breaks out in the Middle East. But he's smirking because he knows he's doing a great job. Joe Biden's America. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve is near historic lows after Biden drained the SPR to just 17 days. And now we've got a war happening in the Middle East. There it goes. There's the old graph here. So expect gas prices to go even higher. That's where it's headed. But Biden is totally fine with that. Biden, as World War III is imminent, he says climate change is the only existential threat to humanity. But certainly the globalists are an existential threat to humanity. Update, Jim Jordan wins the GOP nomination for Speaker. 55 rhinos say they won't vote for Jordan on the House floor. So he might get the nomination, but who's going to actually be the Speaker? I don't know. He's been officially nominated as Republicans' choice, beating out Steve Scalise. Says that he won the vote by a 152 to 55 margin, 65 votes short of the total to prevail. So whether or not Jim Jordan, who I think is a good guy, I don't know. I mean, just from what I've seen, I don't know if he'll end up being the Speaker or not, but he's the one coming the closest at the moment. A lot of people are saying it should be Trump. I have no idea. Trump did say that he would do it, but I don't really think that, I don't really envision that happening, but I guess it is possible. Anything's possible. Breaking, Joe Biden trips and almost falls on his face as he takes the stage in Philly. I'm sure you want to see it, don't you? I mean, why not? So here it is. You just can't get enough, can we? Well, his mortal enemy is apparently stairs. That's his main nemesis at this point. Just going up a flight of stairs, and he's always tripping up. He trips when he's walking, but he trips going up the stairs more than anybody I've ever seen. So, anyways, there's your president-in-chief, right? 81 million vote recipient Joe Biden to speak to paltry crowd at Tioga Marine Terminal in Philly. I think this has already happened. But you can see this massive crowd of people just waiting on the edge of their seats to hear what Joe Biden has to say. I think the numbers here, I mean, he's almost up to 2 digits. He's almost in double-digit numbers here, if you count everybody. So we'll see. I mean, that's getting real close to 81 million. It's a start. I just realized it's 11/11. So, hello to all you 11/11 fans out there. Swalwell 2.0, Green New Deal architect AOC appears to pass gas during live interview. I'll let you guys use your own judgment on this. I don't know if it's real or not. Maybe it is. AOC, the mastermind behind the Green New Deal and prominent figure on the socialist front, found herself in the spotlight for a particularly peculiar reason during her appearance on a New York City-based radio show on Thursday. She unintentionally provided a soundtrack to her discussion about the Israel-Hamas crisis. AOC appeared to let one slip. Yes, we're talking about a fart. The video interview was later posted on her official Twitter X account. That's why I'm not sure that it's real, because why would they do that? I don't know. Use your own judgment on this. I'll let you guys... You want to hear it? I suppose you want to hear it, don't you?
Security of the region. That means being able to support...
it's at 38 seconds, so listen.
Support, yes, Israel in its defensive capacities, right? In its ability, in that context. But it also means that the United States has a responsibility to ensure accountability to human rights, to prevent the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, and to ensure that horrors do not happen in the names of victims who do not want their tragedy used to justify further violence. Horrors do not happen in the names of victims who do not want their tragedy used. Horrors do not happen in the names of victims who do not want their tragedy used to...
Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? It's right on the word tragedy. Is that ironic or not? I don't know. I'm not sure if I buy that. Maybe that's what it is. But if it's real, why would she allow that video to be posted on her own Twitter account? I don't know. But it is pretty funny. Anyways, speaking of craziness, real or hoax, a couple riding a train through Colorado claim that they captured footage of a Bigfoot. All right, we go from farts to Bigfoots on this show. So, I mean, if you're not entertained, I'm not sure what to say. But you should be entertained here. So let's take a look at Bigfoot. I know you want to see Bigfoot. I've got him queued up. So here it is.
It's an elusive creature. Alright, just squat it down. Yeah, let me see your camera, I'll do it.
Do you see that right there? Yeah. He says something about an elusive creature, and he's kind of in the center of the screen. So he's right in here. So here, let me back it up. I'll play it again. It looks real to me. I don't know. I don't think it's a guy in a suit. Here it is again.
It's an elusive creature. Alright, just squat it down. Yeah, let me see your camera, I'll do it.
Okay, well, there you go. Maybe he's trying to get away from AOC farting. I don't know. But he squats down and is trying to avoid the train. So, where else do you have AOC farting and Bigfoot all in the same broadcast but here? So, you're welcome. All right, let's keep moving here. We've got... Oh, yeah, I wanted to show you guys this. This is really crazy. Let me just go ahead and skip to it, being how we're showing video clips. These storm chasers got trapped inside of a tornado and they got it all on tape. So this is more craziness. So this is a good break from everything else that we've been talking about. So let's watch this as well. This is a little bit longer. It's 2 minutes, but it's certainly worth a watch. Very harrowing experience. I'm glad that these guys made it out okay, but do not try this at home. This is why the storm chasers, in my opinion, are super crazy. Getting a little too close for comfort here, but notice that they all come out of it. The car does not come out of it unscathed, but they do, and they're calling on the name of Jesus. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So here it is.
There is massive hail in this thing. We're going to be very close to hitting that. I'll be fine. We'll be okay. Yeah, that's a tornado. The tornado's on the ground right there. Yeah. Tornado reported south of Lewistown. Intense cone tornado. So just up this valley and we should be able to see this tornado. Yeah, okay, here we go. Is that it right there? Or wait, no, it's over here on the right. There's yeah, it's right here on the right. Turning right? Or what? Yeah, so keep on going. It's gonna be left. Right here. This is the gravel road right here. It's on the ground. Okay, it's down. Woo! Oh my... Holy shit. What's up, bud? Oh my... We gotta go east. Tanner, be cognizant. It's coming towards us. Okay, go down this road. Go. Straight. You gotta go, Riley, if you can, bro. I hate this. It's a mile away. It's growing a little bit wider. Go. We're actually fine. It's gonna go straight. It's gonna go south of us. Hold on. So now that we're going north. Yep. And our escape route's north right now. These winds don't make it seem like it's okay right now. I get it. Yep. Oh my gosh! Oh! Holy. Lord Jesus, please protect us in the name of Jesus. Oh! Fudge. Get over. Window up. Dude, I don't know where that tornado is right now. I don't like it. Tornado's right next to us, right here. There's. Holy shoot. Dear Lord, please, in your Lord, please! Heads down!
Wow, what do you think about that? That was something else, wasn't it? Went through the tornado and made it out alive. Pretty crazy stuff right here. Never would have got involved in any type of storm chasing after watching this. Shot in central Illinois is where they were. This video was released a few weeks ago, but it happened all the way back in April. Watch storm chaser Tanner Charles and his buddies chase down the tornado and then get trapped between fallen power line poles as the tornado turned on them. So yeah, there's the car. Wild indeed. So yeah, and then the full video is also embedded here on this article if you want to take a look. That is on notthebee.com. The ad agency behind the Bud Light debacle isn't doing too hot. Guess how many employees they've had to lay off? Just guess. Well, you don't have to guess. I'll tell you. It's not often that you see such tremendous repercussions from one person's boneheaded idea, but whoever came up with the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light crossover idea has really shaken things up. Apart from Bud Light irreparably destroying its brand, the ad agency Captivate, which worked with Bud Light to come up with this disastrous idea, has seen tremendous blowback. Captivate, the California ad agency behind Bud Light's disastrous Dylan Mulvaney marketing campaign, has fired 30 employees, about 20% of its workforce, the New York Post reports. This is on top of the San Mateo company's canning of 13 staffers in July upon their return via private jet from a junket to the French Riviera. Boy, they're living large, aren't they? At which the firm received an award for the Bud Light campaign. They received an award at the Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity. Since July, 43 people have been canned, even after receiving an award for the disastrous move. And Jerry says, that's a shame. Anyway, so yeah. Thought you'd like to know. All right, Summit.news. Got lots more articles here. We'll just look at the headlines real quick. U.S. confirms second carrier group en route to deter hostile actions against Israel. Don't mess with Texas. Senate passes bill allowing local and state police to arrest illegal immigrants. Don't hold your breath on that one. Israel delays all-out assault on Gaza amid growing international pressure as civilians flee to the south. Again, shooting fish in a barrel. They can't leave Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Blinken says Hamas's attack on Israel is the equivalent of 10 9/11s. 10 9/11s. Israel. But they let it happen. Stand down. Confirmed. All right. So anyway, there's some other articles here on summon.news, which is a good site, I think. And here's InfoWars. Let's see. Iran warns it will intervene if Israel launches ground offensive in Gaza. So I don't know if that's what's holding them back or not. I personally don't think that's what it is. But maybe they're listening. I sort of doubt it, though. Why would they? They think that the rules don't apply to them. That's the way I understand it anyway. Iran warned Israel through the United Nations that it will intervene if Israel's operation in Gaza continues. So we talked about that earlier. There's the InfoWars article. Bombshell report: Israel ordered military to stand down during Hamas assault. The IDF was given stand-down orders, both the Army and the Air Force, 7 hours to stand down while those attacks took place, says Jewish charity leader. Maybe Hamas's terror attack really was Israel's 9/11, another inside job to justify full-scale war. That's how they do it. That's how they work it. It's just their system. Problem, reaction, solution, right? Says Bibi ordered Israel's military to stand down for 7 hours during Hamas's assault on the Jewish nation last week, according to reports. Jewish Pro-Life Foundation leader, citing government sources, claimed Netanyahu ordered the stand down to allow Hamas to launch its attack in order to justify Israeli retaliation against Gaza, meant to ultimately wipe the Palestinians' enclave off the map. Of course, that's just the way it works. Israel, as the most sophisticated intelligence in the world. I suppose it'd say Israel has the most sophisticated intelligence in the world. There is no way the government didn't know that that was going to happen. Routman told conservative activist Lauren Witzke in an interview released Saturday. So here it is. If you want to watch it, feel free to take a look. It's on InfoWars, but that's what I mean, so many people can see right through this when it happened, and obviously that is what happened. They stood down. They had to have, because their surveillance system is as incredible as it is. Of course, they had to just basically ignore everything and let it happen to create the reaction, the problem, and then the reaction, and now they get to come in with the solution, which is to wipe Gaza off the map. So, very obvious at this point. FBI Director Wray warns of Hamas copycat terror attacks in the U.S. Coming from a liar, Christopher Wray, but, you know, he's helping to foment this whole thing and make sure that it happens. So maybe he's not predicting, but maybe he's just describing that, yes, there will be attacks. FBI Director urges public to watch out for lone actors amid a heightened environment of fear following Hamas attack on Israel. Says that the FBI has seen an uptick of domestic terror and warned of Hamas-style terror attacks on U.S. soil. Yes, but they're going to blame MAGA and Donald Trump for it. You watch. If anything like this happens, it will be the fault of conservative, Christian, right-winger MAGA Republicans. Because, as they've said over and over again, the number one threat in the United States, the number one threat is white supremacy, which they've tied to MAGA Republicans and Christian extremists. So we'll see. So if Hamas attacks, they're going to get a free pass because it'll all be blamed on me and you. So, not that you're MAGA, I'm just saying, you know, anyone like us. So here's a couple of cartoons I found. So beware of MAGA, see? Beware of MAGA and climate change. Remember, if you see something, say something. Meanwhile, he's letting in the fentanyl and human trafficking and the Islamic terrorism across the U.S.-Mexican border. Way to go, Mayorkas. Way to go. Beware of MAGA and climate change. That's all that really matters. And then here's one more pretty good meme here. Literally anything. Government, gunshots, literally anything. So you have the first frame up there at the top, the government shooting literally anything, and then the bottom one here, government, This is a tragedy. I need more money and authority. Even though he pulled the trigger. So, yep, that kind of sums it up. All right. Vaccine impact. Got a few new articles this week. Holocaust survivor, Israeli doctor, and former Zionist speaks out against Palestinian genocide. And then truth is now censored. Hate and war are too popular and too prosperous. Censored. Peace and love. Peace and love are censored. And truth. Captured Hamas terrorist. We prepared for over a year. We were shocked that IDF were not waiting for us. Netanyahu supporting Hamas, ? So there's a few new articles here on vaccine impact if you want to have a look at that. And then I was looking on Israel 365 News to see if they had any new information here. Of course, there's this one. All Christians urged to attend church tomorrow to pray for Israel and to donate millions and billions. So that's why. This Sunday I'm calling on all God-fearing, Bible-believing churches across our country to call a special day of solidarity and give us all your money. That's what Israel's talking about. So there it is. Israel365news.com is where it is. And of course, many of the evangelicals will play right along and do as they're told. Worship Israel. Even though it's as we covered last week, it is a Rothschild fiefdom. A Rothschild fiefdom. So that's what I'm going to continue to refer to it as, because that's what it is. It's a Rothschild fiefdom. GeoWatch for this week, we have polymer rain. Oh joy. Biosphere collapse and global conflict are inseparable, as Geoengineering Watch has stated on the record for many years. Once the gravity and immediacy of unfolding global ecological implosion became all but impossible to hide, the controllers would play even larger cards, and indeed they are. Bioaccumulative microplastics and heavy metals are now in our air, water, and food. Environmental studies on the ubiquitous contamination of the planet and the collapse of its life support systems are pouring in from countless science sources. The current paradigm can no longer be maintained. All the while, the spraying of our skies with climate engineering elements rages on and is accelerating. Is there any place left to hide? So that is the new installment of Global Alert News for yesterday, October 14th, 2023. Have a listen if you want to. It is embedded here on geoengineeringwatch.org. So feel free to take a look at that. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it. Maybe I have. It's also available on Spotify. For some reason, they've allowed us to have the broadcast on Spotify without banning it. I don't know why. But so far, so good. I guess it's because he never talks about the VAXX. So that's probably why. But I don't know. Anyway, it's available there on Spotify if you happen to be a Spotify subscriber. And then let's see here. Canva. This Canva page here is my this is the page here that I have that we talked about last week. Won't bother going into this again, but this is the end times events. That's not really based on dates, but more how things may play out with regard to the way World War III basically kicking off everything. So I came up with this months ago at this point. Probably I don't know. It was in the spring I think at some point. Because I wanted to have little blocks that I could move around and add things to it as just a way of envisioning how end times events could unfold. And I haven't really changed any of this stuff much. It's pretty much stayed the same since I put it together. And we won't go through this tonight, but we'll maybe do that in a future broadcast. But it is something that I always link to in my Substack post. If you want to take a look, you can let me know what you guys think about it. But so far, I mean, there's a really good chance that a lot of this could play out. Talking about nuclear exchange, China and Taiwan, but Israel and Syria is right here. Damascus obliterated by Israel, and Israel invaded. So that's kind of what we've been discussing elements of, at least over the last couple of shows. So we will see. So we've reached the end of the articles I have pulled up. I do have a few more videos. See, it's 11:30 Central Time. So why don't we watch one more video, and then we'll come back and we will talk about some of the other stuff that we've got to do to wrap up the show, and then I'll look at all of the comments and questions and everything. So if you want to hold tight, let's take a look at this first video. It's a really good one. It's called "Prepare for U.S. Terror Attacks." So here it is. All right. Yep. Yeah, I thought you guys would want to see that. And yeah, the Unit 910 or whatever it was. That's pretty interesting, huh? The sleeper cells. We know that it's just a matter of them activating it whenever they give them the word. So who knows? But what a mess we are finding ourselves in. So yeah, I just wanted you guys to be aware of that particular information. Again, that was a John Bound report, and prepare for U.S. terror attacks. I do think that I think he's right. I just don't know what that's going to look like. I wish we had some clue, but it's bound to happen sooner or later. So here is the Substack page. If you want to subscribe, you just put your email address in there, hit the subscribe button, and that's all there is to it. You can just sign up to be on the list. It's free, and you'll get the email that I send out. I usually send out about 3 emails a week. So don't get mad at me for spamming you, because it's about 3 a week. And one of them is usually over the weekend. I will send out a notice just saying that I'm going to do a live broadcast, and here's the coordinates of such broadcasts, usually always Sunday night, 10 p.m. Central, just like tonight. So I usually send that out either Friday, Saturday, or sometimes it's as late as Sunday, and then the broadcast Sunday night. So that's one email. The other 2 emails usually come Monday. One of them is the audio podcast version of this show, the final version of this show, which will be available at some point, probably tomorrow afternoon. So that will be a second email. And then the third email is just of all of the links to the final version of the show on my BitChute channel and Rumble and Brighteon and those type of things, as well as all of the links to the articles that I talk about tonight. So that's the 3 emails. Generally, that's pretty much it. Just those emails. And if I'm spamming you from 3 emails a week, then I don't know what to tell you. But if it's a problem, I guess unsubscribe, because you can do that as well. Again, it's free. So diamonddisc.substack.com. If you don't want to subscribe, then that's fine. You can still go here and click on no thanks. And when you do that, you get this page here, and it's got front and center. This is the most recent posting that I made. In this case, it's the one that I put out earlier today, just telling people about the broadcast and that, yes, I was doing one. So yeah, it's this sort of a standing date, as I've mentioned to some people, some friends of mine who say they like to know for sure that I'm going to do the show. So I will usually just plan to do it, and then if something comes up, I'll let you guys know ahead of time. But for the most part, we've been pretty much sticking with it. 10 p.m. Central Time on Sunday nights, once a week. So yeah, that is the kind of the standing date here. And then as far as if you scroll down this page just a little ways, you should be able to see it here under the Diamond Report links. This links you to all of the other social media pages that I have. So if you're on Facebook, there's links to both the Diamond Report on Facebook and my Facebook profile. You'd have to send me a friend request to see much of anything, though, on there. But of course, Twitter's on here as well. And I've got the Diamond Report on Twitter now. And then YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Brighteon, ClickView, DLive, which is one of my backup live stream platforms. If I get banned or strike against me on YouTube, then we'll also be simultaneously live streaming to DLive instead of YouTube, for instance. Telegram is another place we can live stream to, but there's not enough people over there yet for me to really make it worth live streaming much on there, but that's an option. So Telegram's a good one. They don't really censor it all. So I got the Diamond Report on Telegram and End Times Dates, which is my my prophetic type of series that I have put together. End Times Dates has its own Telegram page. So feel free to jump on there if you want to. And then I'm also on Minds, Gab, Coldcast, CloutHub, MeWe, and Brighteon Social, and Getter. So there you go. In all those different places. And if you're on any of those platforms, feel free to follow along. And the links are all right here on the Substack page, so you don't have to really question or even send me a note about where it is, because for the most part, it's going to be Diamond Disc, DIAMONDISC, on those particular platforms. Let's see here. It's not Diamond Disc on YouTube. That's one of the exceptions. But like, for instance, on Rumble. There it is, Diamond Disc, DIAMONDISC. That's my company name. Started it back in 1996, which is my music business, and that's what I do. I won't say 9 to 5 because it's pretty much every waking moment as I can work on it. I've got multiple full-time jobs at this point, but this show is certainly one of them, and I enjoy doing this show. And just know that you can follow along on any of the stuff that I'm posting. I'm finding it easier to make a video every week and post that, and finding that it's less censored than if I do multiple other different posts during the week, especially on Facebook, because they censor pretty much everything at this point, memes in particular, and whatever you happen to say in text. So here's my page on Brighteon, and then I also mentioned I think earlier BitChute and Rumble, and then ClickView is the other one that I like. And so the final video here is the video that I put up last week. So this is last week's show, Surprise Attack on Israel. Yeah, right. So there it is. Those videos are on all these different platforms. Again, they're free, and you don't even have to sign up to go there and watch the videos. If you want to make a comment on a video, I guess you would have to sign up at that point. But otherwise, yeah, you can go watch the video for free. Here's my Diamond Disc Audio website. This is the music business that I mentioned before. If you guys don't know, that's kind of my normal everyday gig. I do mastering and mixing in the music business. If you're interested in my bio and some of the people that I've worked with, it is on here as well. Just click on About up here at the top, and you can see that info. I've been doing it a long time, worked with some top names in this crazy music business. And I got woken up about 2012 or 13, officially jumped in head first in 2014. So I've been at it almost 10 years as far as truth and trying to put out really good information. So that's a little bit about me. But this is my company website, Diamond Digital Media and Diamond Disc Audio. It's two branches of the same company. So feel free to look at that if you want to, and I certainly appreciate if you guys send any of your friends and family members who are musicians or artists in some way, or even if they need a website. If somebody needs a website built, I do that as well. So that's kind of my normal day-to-day gig. So just letting you guys know so you can pass the word along. Thank you very much. Now here's my Twitter page. I don't usually mention this, but definitely if you're on Twitter, go there and follow along, and I'll follow back as well. And I'm just kind of building it just now, and I'm actually uploading the final version of the Diamond Report Live. I'm uploading the video on Twitter. I'm not live streaming it to Twitter, but I'm uploading it usually at some point on Monday after the show on Sunday. So I do the live show Sunday night, and then at some point on Monday, I'll put the version on Twitter that's the same version that's on YouTube. So the version that stays on there cannot have the, quote, medical misinformation that YouTube loves to strike down and censor so much. And I've gotten my share of those over the years. So anyways, yeah, this video that we're looking at here is the one from last week. So this is the surprise attack on Israel. Yeah, right. And that is the live show from last week. It is actually posted to Twitter, and I certainly appreciate you guys going there and following along and sharing my posts. And I do a lot of retweets. I'm following some really cool people on Twitter and recommend you guys do as well. So there's lots of good stuff here, and feel free to take a look at that if you want. It's the Diamond Report on Twitter, but it's the Diamond and then RPRT. But yeah, it's linked to here from my Substack page. If you guys want to just click and go to it, go to diamonddisc.substack.com, and it's this first one right there, Twitter, and it will take you right to it. So yeah, I think I'm not a huge Musk fan, but I do think that it's better than it was from what I can tell. I haven't had any censorship at all on Twitter at this point, so I will report that. So I think that's good. I can't say the same about YouTube, and I cannot say the same about Facebook, because they censor so much of what I do. YouTube is burying everything I do. And again, my view count on my YouTube channel is going backwards. My view count and my subscribers. I've actually lost subscribers this week since last week, believe it or not. So it's either that my broadcasts are that terrible, or they're messing with my numbers and just peeling off a person here or there. pretty much every week. So take that for what it's worth. It doesn't really bother me because I'm doing what I feel like I'm being led to do, and that is do this live show and report the news to you guys. So let's see, speaking of which, let's see what you guys are saying, what you guys are up to. Thank you for having no sponsors, Steve says. Yeah, you're welcome. That was, I think that's an important thing. And, obviously most shows cannot do that. I just explained to you how I'm able to fund what I'm doing. And that's because I have another gig, and that is running my business. And, of course, I'm finding that a little bit difficult to do at the moment, and for various reasons, obviously, but some life changes, let's just say that. But yeah, I'm able to still do that, and that is what's paying the bills. So therefore, I am sharing the love with you all and not forcing you to be subjected to buy gold and buy silver and buy water filters and buy storable food and blah, blah, blah. You guys know all about that stuff. I don't want to try and push it down your throats. So, yeah. So you're welcome, Steve. And for everybody else out there who said thanks on that. Yeah, I've decided that's not what I'm going to do. I'm not about that. So, mostly I'm interested in putting the Word of God as I interpret it, and can, to some degree, do some discernment with that Word and impart information to you all in such a way that we're sharing information back and forth. You guys share information with me too. So that's what I'm all about. That's what this show is really supposed to be about. Kathy says, I love how they fund both sides of all conflicts with our money. Yes, they sure do. Discarding the rules of war is a double-edged sword. Absolute rule of law versus absolutely no law. Innocent people caught in the chasm between. Yeah, well said. Yep. Let's see. William says, bare necessities in a bombed-out community and nowhere to go is heart-wrenching. Yes, that's exactly right. Love the Jane Goodall documentary. It was so moving at the time. I know, I remember that too. It was good. It seems so relevant. Just another liar on the global scene. Figures. Yes. Well, I'm not here to put Ms. Goodall down. I'm sure she's done some good in the world. But for the most part, at this point, she is totally compromised, from what I can tell. She's globalist through and through. And yes, she will volunteer you and your family to die, but not her and her family. That's the way I see it. A little hypocrisy there, I think. Yes, I second that vote. Jane can go first. Yes. They never seem to volunteer to want to be the first ones to leave the planet. Wonder why that is. It's looking like we will all be Palestinians soon, Sam says. Well, that could be. Yes, we will eat the bugs, own nothing, and be happy, Susan says. Better a millstone be hung around your neck and you be cast into the sea than you should ever hurt one of these little ones. J. Vela says. Yes, well said. That's good scripture there. I like that one. And I've used that myself with people who are allowing their kids to take part in the whole LGBTQ nonsense. People that I know personally. And yeah, I mean, that's the perfect scripture for that. And then Emily says, I'm convinced we're going to need more millstones. You may be right. As soon as they start calling their 9/11, they gave it away. Definitely an inside job. Yep. When the illegals mobilize, UN comes in, lockdowns, CBDCs, digital IDs, just what they planned. Yeah, that's where it's headed. Yep. Even reporting on the siege of America can land you in prison. Owen Schroyer is a prime example, sadly. Yes, he is due to go to prison in I think it's about 9 days. So, not good. Hand of God is what's holding back World War III and all the events that are about to unfold. These are the goons playing it out. Yeah, they're trying. They're pushing real hard. Yep. Rumble seems pretty good, Marty says. Yeah, I think Rumble's fine. Speaking of which, we've got Rumble. We're live on Rumble tonight as well. Not much chatting going on over there. They're really quiet. I don't know why. But yeah, it looks like there's quite a few people watching on Rumble, so welcome you guys. Let's safely tuck ourselves into a slumber after we say our prayers for the meek and the mild, to give them strength in the name of Jesus Christ, William says. Yeah, well said. Hope your household is adjusting, Doug, Kelly says. Thanks for a great show. You're welcome. Yeah, we're doing okay. it is an adjustment. For you guys that don't know, my mother has recently moved in with us, so it is definitely an adjustment for everyone, including her. So yes, but it's going well. It's going fine. And we've got her in some, she recently had a stroke. If you guys don't know, she had a stroke back in early September, not attributed to the sky. I'll say that again. I always say that. But yeah, she had some other issues going on, and we've got her in physical therapy, so that's helping a lot. And yeah, we'll see how it all unfolds, but she's doing fine. So thanks, you guys. I think that was all the comments. I think that was all of what I had for you guys tonight. There's some more videos, but there's one that I'll close with that I'll just mention. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's really long. It's actually a David Icke video for you guys who are listeners of his, but he's barely in it. He's interviewing this guy. It's called A View from Israel, and it's David Icke talks with Israeli freedom and peace activist Shai Danon. And Shai Danon is a friend of mine. He's a guy that I know. I've known him for several years. He was a guest on Lost Arts Radio several years ago, and I started trading messages with him on Telegram. He doesn't do email. He's only a Telegram guy. He's one of those types of people, and which I don't know. I mean, that seems to be kind of I don't know, maybe an Israeli thing to do. I don't know, but yeah, he is not involved in it at all, and he tells it like it is in this particular interview. So I thought we'd watch a few minutes of this and kind of close out the show with it, because I think his perspective is really good, and he's not falling for the BS from the Israeli government. So, and he's not like, yes, he's Israeli, yes, he lives there, but he's not saying Israel first. He's not saying that anything and everything that Israel does is totally fine and they can just do whatever they want and ride roughshod over Gaza and everyone else. He's not saying that, which I think is really good. So this is a good perspective, I think, called A View from Israel. And but the thing is, it's a pretty long interview. I watched the whole thing earlier today. I think it was over an hour, but I figured I would play maybe the first 10 minutes of it, and then we'll link to it in the Substack post. If you guys want to watch the whole thing, it is available out there. It's on band.video. You guys can look it up. But I'll link directly to the video so that you guys can watch it. Shai's a really good guy. S-H-A-I is pronounced Shai. And he has his own video platform that we've been using on Lost Arts Radio and also for Anthony Patch, which are two of my clients. And they don't censor. It's like they explain it as they're running YouTube out of their basement or out of their garage. That's basically what it is. And so I've dealt with Shai directly on that, and then with some of the people that work with him, and they've been really great. Yes, they're all Israelis, and I think it's good that he says it like it is in this particular interview. And probably what I'll do is, there was, the beginning of the video where he kind of explains what's going on. I'll play some of that, and then I'll skip to, in the middle, they're talking about some other interesting details. So I'll kind of skip ahead to that. And but if you guys want to see more, obviously you can watch the full video later on. So that's totally fine. But anyway, I guess we can close it out with that and just plan to meet you guys again back here next week. It is currently right at midnight my time. So hope you guys have a really good week. I do think we will see the invasion of Gaza. I don't think they're going to hold it off for long. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's always possible that something could change and they could change their minds about this whole thing. But this is exactly what they've been wanting. That attack that they allowed to happen last weekend is what they wanted, because they need the excuse to go after. They think they need the excuse to go after Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, Gaza, you name it. They want all of it. They want it all. So, yeah, Kathy says she saw the whole David Icke interview on Rumble. Okay, good. Yeah, it is really good. So we'll just play a few minutes of it. If you guys saw it already, then my apologies. But I thought it was certainly worth bringing it up. And again, Shai's a good guy, and his platform is called alive528.com. And I will link to that in my Substack post as well. It's a free platform. You can go there and sign up, and you can upload videos, and they don't censor, which is amazing. So yeah, they do not do everything that YouTube does. Although it's a really good platform. Yes, it's had its bugs. It's had its things to work through, just like any platform like that. But I really have to hand it to him for starting his own platform. It's went amazingly well, and they have, I don't know about millions, but they certainly have many thousands of people on there posting videos and not being censored. It's pretty amazing. So anyway, we'll bid you guys adieu, and we will do it again next week. We'll plan to be here, same bat time, same bat channel, 10 p.m. Central Time on next Sunday, which I guess would make it the 22nd, I guess, right? So yeah, we'll do it again then. And if any other breaking news happens, if somebody drops a nuke somewhere, we'll be back on here as soon as possible, if it's possible. But I do think that's what's coming, unfortunately. And I guess I should mention the End Times Date series. The video series I put together here on my YouTube channel, but those same videos are on my Rumble channel and other places. So yes, feel free to take a look at that. I do believe Jesus Christ will return. Feast of Trumpets 2028. We are less than 5 years out from that now, and that's what the whole video series really is based on, is that particular date, and then working backwards from there with the 7-year tribulation starting in September of 2021, and the Great Tribulation starting around January or so of 2025, which means we are fast approaching that particular date. And I do believe the Antichrist has been revealed. For those out there saying he has not been, I do think that I think his identity has been revealed, although he's not officially the Antichrist yet. So he has and he hasn't. But I do think that's coming in the next few months, and certainly by early January or early 2025, I think we'll know for sure. Maybe even before that. So anyway, we'll say it again. Hope you guys have a great week, and let's watch Shai Dannon on here with David Icke. We'll just watch a few minutes of it, and we'll skip ahead and watch a few more minutes, and then we'll close it out. So have a great week, you guys. Talk to you again real soon.